I'm the king of the world!
His name is James Cameron, the bravest pioneer. No budget too steep, no sea too deep. Who's that? It's him, James Cameron.
Systems are normal. You guys hearing the song okay up there?
James Cameron, explorer of the sea.
Yes, James, we hear the song.
Betting against James Cameron is a fool's errand because the guy can apparently do no wrong. He's the man with the Midas touch. They told him Titanic would bomb and it became the highest grossing movie ever made. They told him Avatar would bomb and it topped Titanic to become the new highest grossing movie ever made. They told him no one wanted a sequel to Avatar and it didn't quite become the highest grossing movie ever made, but it did become the third highest grossing movie ever made. Clearly people are picking up what Cameron's putting down. He's a modern myth maker whose knack for creating cinematic spectacle is practically unparalleled. Apart from his unofficial directorial debut, which was hijacked by a megalomaniacal producer, Cameron has never made a bad movie. They were all, at the very least, a wildly entertaining ride, but some of them have gone above and beyond to explore thought-provoking themes and deeply human stories, and others haven't. So here's every James Cameron movie ranked worst to best.
Piranha II, Flying Killers.
This is technically Cameron's directorial debut, so it needs to be included in this ranking, but he had very little creative control, and there were rumors that he was fired 2 weeks into production. So it's not really a James Cameron movie. In fact, on various occasions, he's publicly disowned it. It's a bad movie, but it's not unwatchable. Piranha 2 has the same schlocky B-movie thrills that you can expect from any of Roger Corman's low-budget creature features. Of course, Cameron would go on to do much bigger and better things when he was afforded a bit more creative freedom. Believe it or not, Cameron's dumbest movie is not the one with unobtainium as a key plot point. It's True Lies. True Lies basically imagines what a Bond movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger might look like. It's a big, goofy, bombastic spy thriller about a muscle-bound everyman who leads a double life as a suave secret agent and a suburban husband and father. I love that conceit and the mix of action blockbuster and family sitcom, but it gets a bit uncomfortable when he starts using government surveillance equipment to spy on his wife and manipulate her. Still, Jamie Lee Curtis is great in that role, and it's a joy to see her kicking ass alongside Arnold once he drops the ruse and they team up. True Lies has some really fun action sequences with delightfully absurd leaps in logic. During a high-speed chase, Arnold rides a horse into a lift and onto the roof of a skyscraper.
Press the button for the top floor, please. Thank you.
But as much fun as the movie is, it goes on a bit too long. It reaches a natural ending about 3 times before it actually ends.
The Abyss. Believe your eyes.
The Abyss is a tense, claustrophobic submarine thriller and a dazzling VFX-heavy sci-fi adventure rolled into one. As with any Cameron movie, the visual effects in The Abyss are really impressive, even by today's standards. But in this one, the effects overshadow the human story. Whereas it's easy to connect personally with the love story in Titanic or the father-son story in T2, I don't really give a shit about Ed Harris trying to fix his marriage in The Abyss. The Abyss is visually stunning, but its emotional storytelling is pretty lacking, and both versions of the ending wrap up the plot with an extremely dissatisfying deus ex machina. In both cases, the aliens decide to spare the human race after being inspired by Ed Harris's love for his wife. It just feels like a contrived way to combine the A plot and the B plot. It's like a Shyamalan twist, and that's not a compliment. This movie is way better than people want to give it credit for. Yes, it tells the same story that you've seen in countless white man helps native culture fight other white men stories, from Pocahontas to Dances with Wolves, but it tells that story in the most awe-inspiring way possible, using cutting-edge technology to immerse viewers in an alien world like we'd never seen before. It was a cultural monument and a truly enchanting movie-going experience. Avatar will go down in film history as a technical breakthrough. but its plot is pretty derivative, and the ponytail sex is kinda weird, so it's still on the lower end of the Cameron spectrum. I'm too much of a cold-hearted cynic to be won over by the romance of Titanic. I actually find the first half of the movie really boring as it trudges through this trite Romeo and Juliet star-crossed lovers storyline as the beautiful rich girl falls in love with the beautiful peasant. But I love the second half of the film when the ship starts to go down. I think all the stuff with jealous Billy Zane chasing Jack and Rose around the ship is a bit unnecessary. The sinking of the Titanic is dramatic enough without adding a gun-toting lunatic into the mix. But in that second half, a conventional love story becomes an awesome disaster movie. Cameron managed to make the world of Avatar even more beautiful when he pioneered underwater motion capture to explore the oceans of Pandora in Avatar: The Way of Water. Avatar 2 is just as derivative as Avatar 1, but it borrows from a much wider range of sources. Whereas Avatar 1 is just Pocahontas in space, Avatar 2 is Waterworld, Free Willy, and Cheaper by the Dozen in space. It's a mishmash of different ideas, so it feels a bit more original.
The Terminator. Your future is in its hands.
Before he could command the biggest budgets in Hollywood, Cameron proved he could deliver just as much nail-biting action and eye-popping spectacle on a shoestring budget of $6 million with the first Terminator movie. The Terminator is an engrossing blend of sci-fi actioner, tech noir, and all-out slasher, as a cyborg from the future relentlessly pursues mother-to-be Sarah Connor across contemporary Los Angeles. Arnold Schwarzenegger nails the chilling emotionlessness of a cold-blooded killing machine, and Linda Hamilton nails Sarah's transformation from frightened every woman to Terminator-crushing badass.
You're terminated, fucker.
Aliens. This time, it's war.
Cameron pioneered the ingenious sequel trick of switching genres to shake things up with Aliens. He knew he couldn't make a better haunted house in space movie than Ridley Scott, so he multiplied the xenomorph by the dozen and made an exhilarating action thriller instead. Aliens ratchets up the intensity from its predecessor, which wouldn't have seemed possible if Cameron hadn't pulled it off. And Ripley's surrogate mother-daughter relationship with Newt gives the movie a universal emotional core that was lacking in the first one. It's unheard of for action heroes to get Oscar consideration, but Sigourney Weaver absolutely earns her Best Actress nomination in Aliens. Ripley was already an icon after the first film, but in Aliens, Weaver and Cameron rounded her out as a three-dimensional human being. In the first movie, she was a hardened professional, but in the second one, she's a fiercely protective mother, which is brilliantly contrasted with the Xenomorph Queen.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. This time, he's back. For good.
Trust me.
Terminator 2 is the ultimate James Cameron movie. It's the pinnacle of his action spectacle, the pinnacle of his thoughtful science fiction stories tackling prescient questions, and the pinnacle of his simple yet effective human storytelling. Terminator 2 is like the first movie on steroids. It still has the tension of a cat and mouse thriller, but it also has huge explosions and helicopters flying under bridges and a minigun tearing up a police convoy. Making Arnold a protector and bringing in an even more advanced Terminator as the villain was a brilliant conceit. In T2, more than any of his other movies, Cameron really finds the sweet spot between high-octane spectacle like an 18-wheeler chasing a moped through the LA River, and tender character moments like the Terminator becoming a father figure to John, or John thinking his mom's going in for a hug when she's really checking in for gunshot wounds. Terminator 2 is everything a blockbuster should be, exhilarating, earnest, and extremely entertaining. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.